From her difficult childhood to her rise in the fashion industry, her introduction to cooking, and what she's doing now, here's a complete look at Lorraine Pascale, plus the reason she's been absent from Food Network screens recently. Lorraine Pascale came into the world on November 17, 1972, at Hackney Mothers Hospital in London. At birth, she was named Lorraine Victoria Brown, born to unmarried Caribbean parents who didn't plan to raise her. When she was only 6 weeks old, Pascale entered foster care with Marion and John Bird, a young married couple residing in Leytonstone, East London. The Birds looked after her for 6 months before she was sent to live with her biological father, though this reunion would be short-lived. For about 6 months, Pascale stayed with her father, but when Marion Bird visited to check on her well-being, she was alarmed by what she found. Pascale appeared malnourished and distressed. Her hair was falling out, she had lost a lot of weight, and was inconsolably upset. Concerned, Bird contacted social services immediately. Soon after, Pascale was taken away from her father and returned to the Birds' care, where she stayed until being officially adopted at 18 months old. When Pascale was 18 months old, she was officially adopted by Audrey and Roger Woodward. This was a painful moment for the Birds, who had hoped to adopt her themselves but had only agreed to foster her temporarily, as they were expecting the placement to be short-term. The Woodwards brought Pascale up in Oxfordshire, giving her the middle name Pascale to mark her Easter adoption. Her early years there were fairly typical, but everything shifted when Audrey and Roger divorced. After the split, 3-year-old Pascale and her older brother Jason, the Woodwards' biological son, lived full-time with their mother. Following the divorce, Audrey struggled deeply as a single parent and fell into alcoholism. In 1981, she reached out to social services, asking for help and requesting that Pascale be placed elsewhere for her own protection. As a result, Pascale returned to foster care, this time living with a very religious family until she was 10 years old, when she was allowed to move back in with her adoptive mother.
I'm grateful for what I've been through. It just makes you very resilient, it makes you very appreciative.
At just 16, Pascale was discovered by Beth Bolt, the same agent who famously launched Naomi Campbell's career in the mid-'80s. Soon enough, Pascale rose to prominence as a leading 90s supermodel, gracing the pages of high-fashion magazines and walking the runways for iconic brands like Chanel, Paco Rabanne, and Calvin Klein. However, while the early 90s were the height of the supermodel era, the fashion industry was also rife with overt racism, which was often ignored or accepted among its elite. During her time with Synchro, the agency representing her, Pascale's hair was shaved off, a decision she disliked but which significantly boosted her career. This transformation led to shoots with some of the era's most celebrated fashion photographers. Pascale has acknowledged that while the images are striking, there was a clear demand for an ethnic aesthetic at the time. As a Black model, she was often styled with African-inspired accessories and posed riding camels and elephants for photo sessions. Despite her impressive career achievements, Pascale chose to leave modeling at age 27. During her modeling career, Pascale often mingled with celebrities and socialites, one of whom was Kaz Baliński-Unizil. Though he presented himself as a laid-back jazz musician and bohemian, Baliński-Unizil was actually a Polish count. The two married in 1995 and had a daughter, Ella Balinska, the next year. However, their marriage didn't last long. Looking back, Pascale admits she married young because she was searching for stability. After a turbulent childhood and the intense pressures of being a supermodel, she craved a sense of safety and grounding. Unfortunately, her relationship with Baliński-Unizil ended in divorce in 2000 following a painful breakup that caused her hair to turn gray prematurely. Pascale has also reflected that her marriage to the Count pushed her to confront the trust issues she carried into relationships. Growing up in a chaotic environment had led her to sometimes stir up drama in situations that might have otherwise been calm and peaceful.
I remember my therapist used to say to me, the thing is, Lorraine, when life is going calm and well for you, sometimes you just throw in a hand grenade.
The bright side of the split? Despite their divorce, Pascale and Baliński-Unizil managed to maintain a friendly co-parenting relationship. Their daughter, Ella Balinska, now in her late 20s, has pursued a career in acting and remains very close with her mother. As she embraced motherhood and prepared to move on from modeling, Pascale shifted her attention to a new path. After exploring several career options, she decided to enroll in Prue Leith's School of Food and Wine in 2005. There, she focused on baking and gained valuable hands-on experience working at the Mandarin Oriental Hotel, as well as London's popular Hummingbird Bakery.
Yeah, I just find it really nourishing and comforting, baking and eating.
Eager to break into a notoriously tough industry, where women and people of color often have to fight hard for recognition, Pascale reached out to famed chef and restaurateur Marco Pierre White. The two had crossed paths during her modeling career, and White agreed to support her in building her culinary profile. Pascale made her first TV appearance in 2008 as a guest on White's Great British Feast, where he introduced her as Countess Lorraine Pascale. This exposure caught the BBC's attention, and by January 2011, she was hosting her own show, Baking Made Easy. Despite her success, not everyone was convinced about her new path. Many doubted her abilities and urged her to stick with modeling. But after all she had endured, Pascale wasn't about to let critics stop her. Her natural warmth and expertise on Baking Made Easy quickly won over audiences and opened doors for more television opportunities.
It really is that simple.
In 2013, rumors about Pascale's complicated love life made headlines. She had met music and film executive Jed Doherty back in 2009, around the time she was gaining recognition as a baker. After several years together, they became engaged. But when the engagement ended, many assumed Pascale was the one who called it off. Neither Pascale nor Doherty publicly discussed the reasons behind the breakup. But insiders revealed that when Doherty's work took him to Los Angeles, he asked Pascale to join him in the US, a move she declined. During their time together, Pascale's career as a media chef in the UK was flourishing, with numerous BBC shows and best-selling cookbooks establishing her professional reputation, and she wasn't ready to sacrifice that momentum. Though both were saddened by their split, Pascale later acknowledged that her ongoing trust issues played a role in the relationship's demise. In 2021, she married businessman Dennis O'Brien. Reflecting on their wedding in an interview with Vogue, Pascale simply said, "It was a perfect day." Being in the spotlight isn't easy, especially in the era of social media. And unfortunately, Lorraine Pascale's rising fame made her a frequent target of online abuse. In 2016, Pascale stepped in as guest host on the BBC's Saturday Kitchen after longtime presenter James Martin took a break. That move sparked a flood of hateful tweets attacking her hosting skills and cooking expertise. Critics accused her of not being able to cook and chat simultaneously, of interrupting guests, and of having a dull on-screen presence. Pascale found it tough to brush off the negativity, and even responded with witty remarks to some of her critics. At the time, she explained that she'd tried to rise above cyberbullying for too long and had simply reached her limit. Her frustration was understandable. Over the years, she'd endured a barrage of online harassment, much of it laced with racist and sexist abuse. In 2011, one particularly vicious tweet filled with slurs led friends to urge her to report it to the police. Though the tweet was traced back to the US, authorities ultimately took no action. Lorraine Pascale's relationship with her adoptive mother, Audrey Woodward, has always been complex. Despite their ups and downs, Pascale was heartbroken when Woodward was diagnosed with dementia. The 2014 documentary, Fostering and Me with Lorraine Pascale, explored Pascale's journey through the foster system. But Woodward, a key figure in that story, was too unwell to take part. By the time filming took place, Woodward had lost the ability to speak, and she passed away in 2015. Pascale was deeply affected by her mother's death and struggled with depression afterward. Since then, Pascale has spoken openly about forgiving the physical abuse Woodward inflicted during her childhood, understanding that her mother was overwhelmed and in need of support. She also credits Woodward for instilling a strong work ethic and nurturing the confidence that helped her believe she could reach her goals. In the mid-2010s, Pascale's culinary career started gaining momentum in the United States. Food Network saw her as a perfect fit for their baking competition lineup, and she eagerly accepted. As a judge on Halloween Baking Championship alongside Carla Hall and Zach Young, Pascale offered a mix of fun and honest feedback to contestants. She also became a familiar face on Spring Baking Championship with Duff Goldman and Nancy Fuller, as well as on Worst Bakers in America.
Happy birthday!
Then, quite abruptly, Pascale disappeared from Food Network's lineup. It wasn't due to any personal issues. The real reason was the COVID-19 pandemic. While Pascale stayed in the UK during lockdowns, once restrictions eased, she chose not to return to filming at Food Network Studios. Though she collaborated with the network for several years, there seems to be no indication she plans to resume that partnership anytime soon. There's no denying that Pascale has faced immense challenges, even if she often downplays them, and she's certainly not untouched by the lingering emotional scars from her difficult upbringing. She has been candid about how the abuse and instability she endured as a child have contributed significantly to the post-traumatic stress disorder she continues to manage today. Despite this tough diagnosis, Pascale remains determined not to be overcome by it. To To cope with her PTSD, she relies on therapy, transcendental meditation, and regular exercise. She's also pursuing a doctorate in psychology and hosts public conversations where mental health topics are addressed openly and honestly. On social media, Pascale acts as a kind of life coach, sharing the affirmations and mantras that help her through moments of anxiety, self-doubt, and struggle. She's expressed that one of her deepest callings is to support others in healing from their own past traumas.